In today's video, we're going to compare these two flagship smartphones. I want to answer the question, is it actually worth upgrading from the Galaxy S22 Ultra to the Galaxy S23 Ultra? I found out that there are actually quite a lot of differences even though they do look the same, but we're going to focus mostly on the cameras because I think that's what matters to most people. Everything is also timestamped below, so let's begin. As usual, we'll talk about the design first. As every reviewer has already stated, the Galaxy S23 Ultra is boxier than before and it has more grip on the frame side, making the phone even more comfortable to hold it like this. And in contrast, the Galaxy S22 Ultra's rounded frame makes the phone feel a bit sharper. Anyway, if you're upgrading from the S22 Ultra to the S23 Ultra, then you can't reuse your cases. The S23 Ultra is slightly larger in all dimensions, and also the cameras are not within the same alignment as before, so you literally cannot reuse all your cases. As for the colors, they are distinct from each other. I know the S23 Ultra review, we stated that there are only 4 colors, but there's actually 8 of them. I just forgot to mention the exclusive colors. So we have the usual that we are familiar with, Phantom Black, Cream, Green and Lavender, and 4 more exclusive colors on Samsung.com are Red, Lime, Sky Blue and Graphite. You might wonder why the S22 Ultra that I have here has this kind of jaggy design. Well, it's actually because my screen protector wraps from the front all the way to the back. And just for the sake of completion, I also want to quickly mention about the displays of these two phones. They are very similar if not identical, same resolution, same refresh rate, and even the same color accuracy and brightness levels as well. But the only difference here is that the curvature around the edge of the screens on both sides. So the next big thing is obviously the performance. The performance difference here, I believe, is pretty much self-explanatory. We used Genshin Impact with the highest graphical settings at 60 FPS, and we also locked them down to the same render resolution and redid the test. And yes, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 on the S22 Ultra could not even keep up. It's just laggy. The S23 Ultra has a significant upgrade. Number one, obviously, is because it's using the brand new Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chipset. And another one is because it also has an enlarged cooling system so that it can wick out heat a lot quicker. That helped the phone to maintain high level of performance for a longer period of time, and it also doesn't lag. By the way, the Game Plugins app is finally available on the S23 Ultra, but it doesn't actually make a difference because it is already rendering at the highest possible render resolution by default. So don't bother installing the Game Plugins app. Oh, remember the hidden feature that I mentioned in the Galaxy S23 Ultra review? Well, it seems to be rolling out region by region. My retail unit of the Galaxy S22 and S23 Ultra does not have the feature yet. But many of you guys has stated in the comments, and even a friend of mine from Indonesia stated that his S22 Ultra already had the battery bypass feature there. Okay, what about the cameras? Well, they both are the same except for the main camera. All the differences are listed on the screen here, and I'm sure the screen will now be filled with a bunch of text, so thanks future me who's going to edit this video. Do keep in mind that by the time that you get your hands on the Galaxy S23 Ultra, the image quality may change as the phone is using a brand new ISP, and I think it's safe to assume that further improvements are coming soon. So let's go on and talk about the usual daylight shots first. This past week has been pretty gloomy and rainy overall, so it's not particularly bright outside. Either way, the overall quality coming out of these two phones are very similar to each other, and the only things that vary are the colors and also the picture's overall exposure, but generally remains very similar to each other. However, for this shot in particular, I do like the colors on the S22 Ultra more because it has a higher saturation, but that's personal preference. How about night shots then? Well, this is where I would have to share some information first. Pointing at the same scene, the Galaxy S22 Ultra will show me that it needs 4 seconds to take the night shot, but the S23 Ultra, with the new ISP and improved OIS system, both of which will improve the night shot experience a lot by decreasing the time to only 1 second needed. Even if I tap on the button and make it go to the maximum exposure time, the S23 Ultra will take only 5 seconds, whereby the S22 Ultra will take 8 seconds. If it's already impossible to take night handheld shots at 4 seconds, imagine taking it at 8 seconds. You will definitely need a tripod. The result of the night shots between these two phones are very similar in terms of quality, but the night sky is processed slightly differently, but the biggest difference is actually the next part, the zoom shots at night. Thanks to the new ±3 degree OIS system and also the improved ISP, the S23 Ultra is able to take this kind of 10x night shots. Remember, it only requires 1 second to take this picture, while the S22 Ultra requires 4 seconds, and because I have shaky hands, this is the result. It's a stark contrast. One is a smeary mess, whereby the other one, well, I wouldn't say it's the best since there are some signs of smearing, but it is a very big improvement compared to the S22 Ultra. Back to daylight zoom shots, they both perform very similarly to each other, but the sharpening is a bit more aggressive on the S23 Ultra, especially for text at 100 times zoom. What about moon shots then? Well, these two phones will result in a different moon color. The first shot was actually taken when the clouds were partially blocking the moon, hence resulting in this image. I would have to say the S23 Ultra looks a bit better since it's brighter overall, but the S22 Ultra kinda looks more artistic. Again, it is up to your personal preference. For the second moon shot that I took, it was when the sky was clear, so as you can see here, they both resulted in different colors. I think that this is also up to your personal preference, but I do think both of them look good. Now it's time for night videos. I mounted these two phones onto the jig so that when I move these two phones, they will both move and get shaken at the same time with the same angles and the same magnitude. And yes, the cameras aren't aligned properly, so as you can see here, the alignment between the frame is a bit off. But comparing these two shots side by side though, I immediately realized that the S23 Ultra can take much clearer night videos as it is not as noisy and has fewer OIS artifacts thanks to the new ±3 degree OIS system. I'll show you both videos individually so you can make your own judgment as well. How about the battery life difference? Well, since we have a standardized battery life test, we can reuse our data from last year for the S22 Ultra, and I cannot redo the test because the S22 Ultra had been my personal unit and it has gone through a year of usage, hence the battery has already gone through some wear. So with these two phones tested with PCMark battery life test locked at 100 nits of brightness, we got a big surprise. The battery life is a massive improvement, jumping from 9.5 hours to 13 hours. Since we have also upgraded our charging test, the results gathered and presented are not the same between these two phones, but we are using the exact same charger anyway, so the charging speed, as far as I can tell, remains unchanged between these two phones. As for the RAM and storage speed, I have decided to redo the test once again using the accurate mode in the A1SD benchmark app, which requires a restart as well as some setup. It will take a bit more time, but with the accurate mode we can actually see a bigger difference in both the RAM and storage speed between these two phones. I've also seen a lot of reports saying that the Galaxy S23 Ultra's bloatware has ballooned up to 90 gigs, and to that I can confirm that it is true. Even the Galaxy S22 Ultra has 93.71 gigs of system apps, but as for what they are for, I cannot confirm. However, using a blanket term and labeling all of it as bloatware is kinda unfair since I do believe that there are a lot of useful features built in as well. It's just not all of them are useful to everyone, so maybe just let us choose what apps that we want in the future. Okay, for the final big question, should you upgrade from the S22 Ultra to the S23 Ultra? Going by my own beliefs though, I usually would say that it doesn't make sense to upgrade your highest end flagship smartphones every year. But then again, the S23 Ultra is a clear upgrade over its predecessor. Depending on what you do with the phone, some aspects might make it more of a significant upgrade over others, which also means that I don't recommend everyone to trade in the S22 Ultra for the S23 Ultra. For mobile gamers though, especially high-end games like Wreckfest and Genshin Impact, the S23 Ultra is obviously multiple folds better the ability to maintain high performance over a longer period of time is crucial. While the S22 Ultra also has the battery bypass feature, it won't help much because the chipset itself is already overheating and thermal throttling. So I'll say that mobile gamers will benefit the most, while photographers and videographers, depending on how serious you are, will also benefit from the upgrade, especially for handheld night pictures and night videos. I mean, Samsung does accept the S22 Ultra in their trade-in program, so maybe see if you can get a good price for the trade-in and then re-evaluate if you should upgrade or not. That's my best advice to you. So that's it. That's the comparison between the S22 Ultra and the S23 Ultra. The differences, depending on how you look at it, might be significant to you, might not be. So please do re-evaluate if you do need the upgrades or not. So that's it. If you have any more questions, do leave them down in the comment section below. We'll try to help you out whenever we can, and we'll see you guys in the next video.